Balqis, the enigmatic sovereign shrouded in layers of mystery. Her name echoes through the Qur'an as one of history's most extraordinary queens. She is remembered as the ruler whose domain reached from the heart of South Arabia all the way to the edges of Africa. Yet the true wonders of her story are less about her powerful throne and more about the secrets and strange questions that swirl around her life. Some old tales whisper that Queen Bilqis was not fully human, that her ancestry blended traces of jinn and mankind. Is it possible then that Prophet Sulayman, entrusted by Allah with mastery over the jinn and able to compel them at will, would choose such a bride? What do the time-honored traditions of Islam reveal about her? But let's return to where this remarkable story truly began. Not in a glittering palace, nor a war council room, but with a small, perceptive bird, Hudhud, the hoopoe, whose silent wings carried messages few others ever knew. Hudhud, blessed with understanding, became the herald who would guide a sun-worshipping queen to Islam, transforming destinies in a single flight. Before we unravel the deeper mysteries of Balqis, I invite you, wherever you may be in the world, to share your city or country with us in the comments below. Knowing where you listen from strengthens the bonds of our gathering and breathes new life into this spiritual community. Now, let us begin. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allah declares in the Qur'an, "We narrate to you, O Muhammad, the finest of tales in what we have revealed to you of this Qur'an, though before it you were among those who knew not." Surah Yusuf 12:3. In an age when Prophet Sulayman's legions assembled, an army unrivaled waited for his review, a force so unusual it demanded attention. Humans stood in formation, but beside them, invisible jinn moved unseen, and birds and beasts joined their ranks. Even the breezes would submit to Sulayman, whisking him wherever he wished. The might of his troops was made even more fearsome, because many remained hidden, their presence felt only in the quake of battle. Chief among Sulayman's avian scouts was the hoopoe, Hudhud, whose purpose was crucial: to fly beyond horizons, survey foreign lands, and return with knowledge about friend and foe alike. On this particular day, as the ranks gathered, whispers rustled like wind through grass. The Hudhud was gone. Anxious glances traded among the animals, for without the bird, the army's intelligence had a missing piece. Upon Sulayman's arrival, the murmur grew. Hudhud, meanwhile, had flown far away, led by an unshakable sense of purpose. Resting atop a towering tree deep within the land of Sheba, he observed the city, its winding roads, its noble houses, its ornate gates. Something odd was afoot. A mass assembly was gathering. Curious, Hudhud called softly to a local hoopoe he knew. "O graceful one, what is the meaning of this gathering?" he inquired. The answer came. "The people prepare to greet their queen. Today, as ever, they shall all bow before the sun." From his perch, Hudhud watched soldiers and commanders march in grand procession. Then, on her raised throne, the Queen of Sheba, Balqis, appeared. She descended, and with great ceremony, led her citizens in turning toward the sun. Together, they lifted their hands, then lowered themselves in solemn bow. Perched high above, Hudhud wondered how Sulayman would respond to such news. A whole nation lost in devotion to creation, not creator. He wasted no time and sped home, wings burning with haste. Days passed, but at last he arrived, only to meet scolding from his fellow birds. "Where have you vanished, Hudhud?" chirped a small sparrow in annoyance. "Our master has asked for you. Have you any justification for your absence?" Anxious and burdened, Hudhud gathered the courage to present himself to Sulayman. He entered the prophet's quarters, trembling, as Sulayman supped. Quietly, the bird perched out of reach, offering a respectful greeting, his eyes fixed not on Sulayman's face, but upon his hands, overwhelmed with uncertainty and humility. Determined to deliver the truth, Hudhud spoke first. "My lord, a message of grave import I bring. Far beyond these lands, there exists a people of whom you do not know. They are ruled by a sovereign, a woman of unmatched wealth and majesty, seated atop a radiant throne. Yet I saw them all, she and her subjects, prostrate not to Allah, but to the sun. I fear that Satan has adorned this false path for them." Hudhud's honesty showed his absence had not been neglect, but rather the pursuit of vital knowledge. Prophet Sulayman, ever just, replied, "We must verify your words. I shall compose a letter, and you, Hudhud, must carry it to their land. Remain there until you see how they respond." With the sealed letter clasped in his beak, Hudhud sped toward Sheba. Arriving, he circled above the palace gardens, seeking the queen's chamber, until a grand balcony gave away her resting place. Tucking himself behind a nook in the ceiling, the bird watched Balqis sleep, her hair like woven silk upon the pillow. As beauty mixed with sorrow in his mind, Hudhud pondered, why would one so endowed with grace and power bow to the sun, a mere creation? In that moment, the letter slipped from his beak, landing softly upon Balqis's bed. Startled awake, the queen discovered the mysterious letter, scrutinizing her empty room in alarm. With cautious hands, she broke the seal. "This is from Sulayman, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. Come to me in humble submission and abandon your pride." Anger sparked within her. Summoning her guards, she demanded, "Who dared trespass here? Who left this letter?" The guards, arms at the ready, insisted no living soul had crossed the threshold. Meanwhile, Hudhud, well hidden, listened intently as confusion grew. Unnerved by this supernatural delivery, Balqis convened an urgent assembly of advisors, confessing, "I have received a missive from Sulayman, written in the name of Allah, calling me to submit and forsake arrogance. What counsel can you offer?" One councilman brashly replied, "He demands submission. It is a threat, a call to arms. We should meet force with force." Others urged war, certain of their strength. Yet a single wise advisor interrupted. "But how did this letter arrive unseen? Should we not first discern Sulayman's intentions?" Balqis admitted she had awakened to find it mysteriously upon her bed. Another counselor, uneasy, suggested, "Best to wait. A man who can reach us so effortlessly may possess strength beyond our reckoning." Reflecting deeply, Balqis spoke in a tone heavy with foreboding. "When kings descend upon a land, destruction follows. Good people are humbled, and honor is turned into dust. Instead, let us send the finest gifts and see how Sulayman responds." No one disputed the queen's proposal. As news spread, artisans toiled night and day, crafting offerings of gold and jewels, treasures meant to dazzle a king who wielded terrible power. Hudhud, privy to every secret, soon watched a procession depart for Sulayman's kingdom. Among them traveled one of Balqis' trusted army commanders, tasked to observe and report back intelligence about Sulayman's forces. By then, Sulayman was fully aware of these efforts, thanks to Hudhud. When the envoys neared his city, Sulayman ordered his assembly to present all its might and mystery. The arriving delegation was stunned beyond words. To their eyes, Sulayman's hosts included not only men and war horses, but lions and leopards, elephants and raptors, all organized and obedient. Even the winds bowed at the prophet's whim. Nowhere else in the world could power like this be witnessed. Weapons moved as if alive, terrifying the onlookers. When asked what they beheld, a calm captain replied, "This is but a handful of jinn soldiers, practicing in the morning sun." Awestruck and humbled by the splendor they had seen, the envoys accepted an invitation to Sulayman's palace for a meal. Confronted with such magnificence, their offerings, no matter how extravagant, appeared meager. Still, with trembling hands, they presented them. Minutes later, these lavish gifts were returned, untouched, with Sulayman's stern message. You think riches will sway me? What Allah has gifted me surpasses all that you possess. Take these back. Should I confront you in battle, you will be driven from your homes, stripped of dignity. I require but one thing: submission, not tribute. Frightened, the messengers pleaded, What will satisfy Sulayman? Tell us plainly, so we may explain to our queen. The envoy replied, He desires nothing but acceptance of his call, worship of Allah and submission to truth. That is his sole demand. The envoys returned home, recounting what they had witnessed to Queen Bilqis. She listened in thoughtful silence, the splendor of her own gifts dwarfed by the mighty authority and divine backing of Sulayman's realm. Tales of armies of jinn and beasts brought her anxieties to the surface. Hopes for peaceful resolution seemed to shrink. Now, Balqis summoned every sage, every war counselor. Would Sheba and Sulayman's realm collide in war? The stakes had never been higher. At the same hour, Sulayman, flanked by ministers, scholars, and generals, his assembly protected by two imposing lions, called for counsel. Hudhud perched beside him, ready to update the prophet. Sulayman began, I offer thanks to Allah, the source of all might and wealth. It grieves me that, while we strive to uphold monotheism, there remain nations who bow to the sun. That is not our success, but a glaring defeat. A war commander, steel drawn, declared, Allow me to erase this sun worship from memory. Let us raise her throne. Let us erase those who reject Allah. But Sulayman, his anger quiet and hidden, answered, I do not welcome bloodshed. We seek another way. Perhaps the queen herself will come here in peace. But before she arrives, who among you can present her throne before me? A mighty jinn offered, I can deliver it before you rise from this council. But then, one blessed with divine knowledge, Ilm al-Ladun, stepped forward. I can transport it here before the blink of your eye. Sulayman agreed, and in an instant, Balqis' throne, daunting and exquisite, materialized before them, witness to a power the world had never seen. Hudhud watched in awe, struggling to comprehend this wonder. Meanwhile, in Sheba, Balqis' royal and war councils debated in urgency. She rose, her voice lined with fatigue. A grave challenge faces us. Sulayman demands submission, his promise. Devastation should we refuse. I require your advice. Some proposed yet richer gifts might sway him to friendship, but others warned, should Sulayman reject all peace, the shadow of annihilation looms over our kingdom. Balqis decided to travel herself, risking everything for peace. A grand retinue was prepared, laden with treasures. Yet deep within, Sulayman perceived the queen misunderstood the true nature of glory and advancement. In her mind, greatness was measured by the soaring reach of her people or the innovations under her rule. But Sulayman, granted wisdom beyond measure, knew true progress, true nobility, lives within belief in divine oneness, tawhid, without which civilization is rootless, adrift. If you lose the world but win Allah, you gain everything. If you secure all of earth and forfeit the divine, what profit remains? So while Balqis made ready for her journey, Sulayman issued a subtle order. The throne's appearance was to be altered, details modified, especially the sun motifs. For what folly, he thought, is it to serve the sun, the very thing created to obey humanity, no matter if crafted in gold? Replace the emblems, he commanded, and artisans set to work reshaping the throne. At the same time, Sulayman requested the most gifted architect in his realm. Construct a palace for me, erected over water with a crystal-clear entrance so transparent it appears to hover, visitors thinking themselves surrounded by liquid. Shall we use pure glass? The architect queried. That is exactly as I envision, replied Sulayman. If you permit jinn to labor, the palace might be ready within 2 weeks, promised the master builder. Let them assist you, Sulayman agreed, but make the floor as you described. Glass so clear the flowing water beneath shines through. And the ceiling, my lord. Design it of glass as well, bathing the halls in sunlight's reflection. Let the walls be dressed in mirrors, amplifying the beauty. Sulayman smiled at the vision. Soon the palace rose above shimmering waters, a beacon of artistry and wonder. As Balqis neared Sulayman's city, Hudhud awaited her, accompanied by an officer of the court. On the journey, Balqis marveled at legends come alive, heralding marvels and might undreamt of in her own land. Drawing closer to Sulayman's domain, she beheld his formidable army, each sight stealing away a fragment of her confidence, her once steadfast heart trembling. Here was power that surpassed the splendors and innovations of her people, a force alive with divine purpose. Her pride began to unravel, replaced first by fear, then reverence. As she prepared to enter the palace, the spectacle brought her to a halt. Never had she seen such majesty. Columns clad in gold, gem-encrusted doors, every detail etched by the hand of a master. Yet what captivated her utterly was the glass floor beneath her steps. So perfect, the water below looked ready to rise and swallow her. Fearing to get wet, she gathered her garments, lifting them above her ankles, revealing her shins. Here, the story moves into its deepest shadows. Some ancient narratives claim Sulayman arranged for the glass floor, not just as an architectural marvel, but as a test. Whispers had reached him that Balqis might belong partly to the jinn, a race he knew intimately. Jinn, folklore tells us, are often marked by hairy legs. By inviting Balqis to walk upon the illusion of water, Sulayman could observe discreetly. Why would such rumors circulate? In various traditions, some maintain Balqis was sired by a jinn father, or descended from mysterious origins. Ethiopian scriptural accounts, on the other hand, resist these embellishments. There, she is depicted as a pure-hearted, perceptive queen. Even the Qur'an remains silent on her parentage, allowing legends to swim in the realm of speculation. So what is the consensus among Islamic scholars? Most affirm Balqis' humanity, explaining that hostile jinn spread rumors of her mystical origins to deter Sulayman from taking her as queen. Their fear? Should Sulayman have a child with her, their servitude would be prolonged, as his heir might inherit his mastery over them. The jinn had every reason to distort the truth, for most are renowned deceivers. Sulayman, wise to their schemes, devised this test. When Balqis lifted her dress and revealed smooth human legs, he knew she belonged not to the jinn, but to mankind. Then she was shown the throne, its semblance familiar yet subtly changed. "Is this your throne?" Sulayman asked. Balqis hesitated, her eyes tracing every altered line. "It appears to be mine, though something is different," she replied. Beneath the magnificent seat, an inscription awaited her discovery. "We are those who submit to Allah." As Balqis gazed longer, the truth settled in her heart. She recognized her own throne, brought across leagues, transformed by marvel. This was undeniable evidence of Sulayman's divinely gifted power. Lost in contemplation, comparing her people's worship of the sun to the lucid logic of Sulayman's message, Balqis began to sense the futility of their ancient faith. Invited to dine, she listened as Sulayman spoke of Allah, the Lord above all universes, so generous, so exalted, the one for whom the stars and sun exist as servants. To bow before the sun, he told her, is to dishonor the intellect Allah has endowed upon humanity. The queen's heart became lighter. The radiance of the sun, once her guiding light, seemed to pale, dimmed by a more enduring brilliance kindled within her soul. When her advisors arrived, urging her to keep the sun worship tradition, she rebuked them. Must you cling to such illusions? The sun is but a snare set by the deceiver. Leave me and listen to what Sulayman speaks. Her counselors retreated, unsettled, but the queen herself was now changed. Inside, a soft rainbow of colors seemed to well up, and for the first time, Balqis felt her spirit at rest. With sincerity, she embraced Islam, confessing her past folly and pledging herself to Allah. By her example, her entire nation abandoned their sun worship, seeking the one who made all things. And thus, a simple bird guided by intuition and honesty had become the unwitting spark for a transformation that echoed through ages. The account, preserved eternally within the Qur'an, teaches us the priceless value of insight and the dignity inherent in those who seek and cherish true knowledge. Wisdom, after all, is a divine endowment for which hearts must be ever grateful. If this journey resonated with you, please show your support with a like. Share your reflections in the place you're tuning in from below, and subscribe so you never miss another story like this. Your presence and encouragement help us share these timeless gems with more souls around the world. Until next time, peace and divine protection be upon you.